Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen, salatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Now brothers, before we start, what we need to do is get the right frame of mind when we come to discussions like this. And what I mean by that is, whatever you want to look at, whether it is a biography, whether it's an event or a concept in Islam, we should come with the right mind. Because us in Palm Tree who organize it, the brothers who organize it, we know we only have half an hour, 40 minutes to give you the details of the talk. So what we want to do is aim for two things. Number one is that we want to draw lessons out. So you want to take the lessons from the talk, something that you can apply to yourselves, your family, and inshallah maybe the community. Yeah? And the second thing we want to do is give you a framework. So when you go back and you want to go dwell deeper into it, you are able to have a framework or a skeleton that you can use to go deeper into the discussion. So that's the framework you want. That's the mindset you want when you come to these type of events where it's a really short amount of time, inshallah. So what we want to talk about today is one of our great rulers, one of our great generals. He's a man who not only had iman, he's a man who brought back the spirit of jihad, he brought unity back to the Muslim Ummah, and he brought justice. And he also paved the way for Salahuddin Ayyubi to liberate Palestine, or Jerusalem al-Quds. Now in any biography or any time you look at a series where we're talking about change, the one thing you need to look at is what was the situation at the time for these men to create this change. What is it that they came for? What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send them effectively for? So if you look at the time of Nuruddin Zengi, this is who we're going to talk about. His full name is actually Nuruddin Mahmud Zengi. If you look at the time of what was actually going on in the Muslim world then, you'll find it is very, very similar to what we are facing today. And I'm going to give you some examples. Number one, in the 12th century, the Crusaders had captured Jerusalem in 1099. And they didn't just kill Muslims, they killed the Jews and they killed Christians. And we know the story. We know that when they killed the Muslims, the blood came to the ankles in some places. In other places, the blood came to the knee, above the knee. That's how much hatred they had. But it went further. They hated the Muslims so much, there are reports where they ate the Muslims. Yeah, cannibalism. They actually got Muslims, roasted them and ate them. That's how much hatred they had. So this was the situation. The Crusaders had taken over. Yeah? Another thing you'll find is that the Muslim Ummah was divided. And not only were they divided in nations, they were divided in sects. They were divided in Shia and Sunni. The Abbasid and the Fatimids were having a beef between themselves as well. And because of that, you found the Crusaders were getting stronger. What does that show? If you look at today, do we not have the same problems? Who is the champion of the Sunnis right now, supposedly? Saudi Arabia, right? Who is the champion of the Shia right now? Iran. Do either of these two countries represent the sects they supposedly look after? What did Iran do to the... Right now, what are they doing to the Shia, Afghan Shia right now? What are they doing? These are the Afghan Shias came and helped them in Syria, regardless of what we think of it, but supposedly they helped them, and they were the ones that were in the front line. They lost more men than the actual Iranian army. Yet today, the Iranians, because of their domestic situations, have given up on them. The Iranians have given up on the Houthis in Yemen. The Iranians gave up Hezbollah. What is Saudi Arabia, the champion of the Sunnis, doing? What is going on? There's bikini beaches, there's concerts, there's everything. The concerts, after that, what is UAE doing? Do you see? The situation of the Muslim world today is very similar to what it was then. And lastly, moral decay. Yeah, so I already talked about the bikini beaches and whatnot, but what's happening in the West? Our sisters are gone into feminism. Our brothers are also gone into feminism for some reason, yeah? Masculinity is gone. All sorts of nonsense is going on. This is the situation we find just as the same that Nuruddin Zengi found. So let's go into the life of Nuruddin Zengi, because this is the situation he was in and we are in right now. So let's draw some lessons. So Nuruddin Zengi was born in 1118 CE in Mosul, which today is in Iraq. And he was a son of Imaduddin Zengi, who himself was a famous warrior himself and ruler. And he is actually the one who started the fight back against the Crusaders. So draw a line here, yeah? You've got Imaduddin Zengi, then you've got Nuruddin, and then you've got Salahuddin Ayyubi. Goats create goats, yeah? That's for the little bit older generation, the greatest of all time, yeah? Goats will create goats, yeah? Legends will create legends, and this is for the fathers, yeah? If you want your son to be something, then you need to show that yourself. If you want him to be Quran or Hafiz and whatnot, maybe you should be reading a lot of Quran and memorizing Quran. Whatever it is you want your son or daughter to be, you need to be the example. Imaduddin was the example, and I will touch a bit on about his father a little later on. Yeah? What else do we know? Now, there's not much, to be honest, that we could find about the raising of Nuruddin Zengi, because there's not much out there about him, unfortunately. But one thing we do know is that he did study hadith, he did study fiqh, he did study Quran and stuff. And one person we do know that he actually went and spoke to a lot is a scholar by the name of Fatima al-Faqiha, who is a sister. Yeah, so this is for the fathers who have daughters. Yeah, yes, the priority is that you want your daughter to be, looking after the household and all the rest of it. But they can also be people who actually help the leaders. We need scholars, and we do need women doctors. If we go by just in real reality, we need women doctors, isn't it? You want your daughter or you want your wife or your mother to see a woman doctor. If we're just going to be, she's just going to be looking after the household, raising the household, then you're going to have to accept you're going to go see men in the doctors, isn't it? And then sometimes there are conditions where you'd rather have a woman look at it. So it's something for the fathers who have daughters to think about. But Nuruddin Zengi did consult her a lot when it came to fiqh matters and things like that. His military training was actually given by his father. His father was a genius when it came to the military, and he taught him basically everything. Yeah? But his father was also one of the just rulers, because remember at that time, brothers, the situation was just like today. The Muslim Ummah was split. Yeah? Where is Jerusalem and where are the Crusaders? The Crusaders came from Europe. Is Jerusalem anywhere near Europe? Yeah? Is Jerusalem near Rome? Is Jerusalem near London? It's not. So how did the Crusaders manage to come all the way from Europe, go through all the Muslim lands, like they do today, and take over Jerusalem? Because the Muslim let them. The Muslims who were there literally let them through. Why? Because they saw it, oh, I have beef with this sultan. If these Crusaders get rid of him, I can do a deal with the Crusaders and we can do something about it. So these are the type of situations that we had. Yeah? And it's the same thing we face today. How is it that America are able to give all these weapons to to Israel? How are they able to do it? Because the Muslim nations are letting them go, fly over. Egypt is next door, they're doing nothing, absolutely nothing. If anything, they're aiding them. They're aiding them in this genocide. Yeah? Earlier on, I did talk about how they ate the Muslims. You've seen the videos, we've seen the videos. What's happening to the people of Gaza? And what is happening to the Ummah elsewhere, in Kashmir, in Xinjiang. If you see what's happening in Xinjiang, you'll be amazed, why is this not on the news? They're boiling babies alive, if you look into it. Imaduddin, one of the things he used to say to his son, Nuruddin, he used to say to him that leadership is an amana, yeah? And the ruler must rule by the sword and the Quran, strength and justice together. And Nuruddin took that. He took that in, yeah? And you'll see this in his, his rulership. So one of the main battles that started off the kickback to get Jerusalem was the battle of Edessa in 1144, where Imad ad-Din, he sent Nuruddin to go fight the Crusaders, and it was the first major victory because this was the northern part of Syria, and they were able to capture it from the Crusaders. And then later on, Nuruddin ruled over that area. In 1146, Nuruddin's father, Imad ad-Din, was assassinated. He was assassinated and Nuruddin took over that area. But the difference is that Nuruddin never wanted to fight between, to rule over other areas as well. So what would happen is his brother took, I think, Egypt, and he took Aleppo. So, but he never wanted to fight his brother because this was the norm at that time. So they will, when the father dies, the sons will fight for basically the leadership and to rule whatever area they can. But Nuruddin never did that. If anything, he propagated that how can we fight when the Crusaders are just next door? The Crusaders are outside our doorstep. How can I fight my Muslim brothers? Yeah. So he understood the understanding of Muslim unity. He knew that the Muslim had to fight together, had to defend Islam together, and had to propagate Islam together. He understood that. So what kind of ruler was Nuruddin Zengi? So just to give you he built schools, madrasas, hospitals, mosques. He put independent judges. So he made sure there were judges that were independent and they ruled in fairness. To ensure justice, he did something that Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu used to do, which he used to disguise himself and he used to walk in the streets in the night. He would walk in the night and he would check that you could say the police, his judges are doing correctly. Because at that time, bribes were happening and people were taking political favors. We're from Bangladesh, you know these things. What happens? You want anything done in Bangladesh? What happens? You need to pay someone. You need to know someone. Someone will have a connection to some chairman, some MP, and he will get the job done for you. Same things were happening at that time. But Nuruddin used to disguise himself and he will go out in the street and he will make sure that his judges were being fair to the people. In one example, a woman came and she told Nuruddin that your soldiers have taken my land. He immediately got his soldiers, arrested them and gave back the land to the woman. Yeah. When his wife complained that, look, I'm suffering from poverty. Yeah, we're suffering from poverty. You're the ruler, do something. He said, look, this money is an amana for us. So he only gave her free shops that are from his own personal wealth. And anything that he got as gifts from other rulers who were trying to basically bribe him, he put it all into the Baitul Mal and he'll use it to build mosques and hospitals and things like that. And he told his wife that, look, you're just going to have to live with the rizq that Allah has given us. Yeah, and this is another example of another Umar bin Abdul Aziz. We all know that when his son came with the apple, he was a toddler. A little toddler came with the apple and he took a bite of the apple, and this apple was meant to go, there was a bunch of apples, but these were meant to go to the Baitul Mal. He grabbed his toddler by the neck and squeezed him and took out the piece of apple. Yeah, and his wife came and said, what are you doing? He's just a child. Yeah, he said, do you not think it hurts my heart to do this to my son? But this is an amana on me. Yeah, this is an amana on me. It belongs to the Ummah. And he put it back. And what are the rulers doing today? What are the rulers doing today? The ruler of Saudi Arabia, the oil wealth belongs to this Ummah. What are they doing with it? They're buying football clubs. They're taking America out of their recession effectively. They're taking them out of poverty. 1 trillion, put how many zeros that is. 1 trillion effectively they give into America. When the king of Saudi Arabia, the last one, when he was dying, his hospital bed sheets cost £25,000. Just the bed sheet. And they changed it every day. This is the waste that they were doing. But again, look, when we have men who have iman, men who understand Islam, you see the type of character that they are. Now, let's go into the main thing, which is Nuruddin Zengi's military genius. Yeah? So I'm going to tell you one particular battle where he basically, the Crusaders, led by, Bahman III of Antioch and Raymond III of Tripoli, and there was another guy, I forgot his name, but they all came together and they decided they're going to attack the Muslims. So what the Muslims did, they went to their fortress in Harim and they attacked it. Now what Nuruddin Zengi did, he made it out that, you know what, we're scared, yeah, we're going to have to flee now, we're going to duck out. So they went, and Raymond and Beaumont, they were thinking, yes, we got these guys. They chased them, and he brought them to a swamp. And when this swamp, obviously what happens in a swamp, when you come in with riders and things, the horses are digging down, and the Muslims ambushed them. Literally ambushed them and just battered them. Gave them a good badam, all of them, yeah? And then they took Raymond, they took, what's his name, Beaumont and Kalamanos into prison. And look at the justice of Islam. When they take our people, they torture us. They will pull out your nails, they'll cut you, all of these things. Our guys' justice. Islam doesn't allow us to torture them. As much as we might want to, when we see the videos that we see, Islam doesn't let us do that. So Nuruddin, being a just man, he never did any of that. But the genius idea there, just make it look like that we are retreating, bring them into the swamp, sink them down, and then just take them out. And this led them to take over northern Syria. So they took over northern Syria, and then what Nuruddin did, he did another thing where he sent Shiruk to Egypt, and he sent Salahuddin Ayyubi as his assistant, effectively, to help him out. Yeah? And when Shiruk died, Salahuddin Ayyubi took over Egypt. Now what was so significant about that, because at that time the Shia had that area, the Fatimids had that area, and Salahuddin was able to slowly take out the Shia influence and then take over Egypt, and now you have Egypt, Syria, all of that together. Yeah? So again, this is just a framework. So when you go later on, you can go deeper into that situation. But there was a dream that Nuruddin Zengi always had, and this dream was that he wanted to liberate Masjid al-Aqsa. Yeah? He wanted to liberate Jerusalem. That was his dream. And he built a pulpit, a mimbar. Yeah? He built it, and unfortunately he wasn't able to put that mimbar thing, but Salahuddin did put that mimbar for him. So when his death did come, so in 1174, Nuruddin was 56 years old, yeah, when he died. And when they opened his treasury, when they opened it, do you know how much they found? 0. He didn't have a penny to his name. He spent all of his wealth on the way of Allah. Everything he had, he spent it in the way of Allah. He had nothing. He didn't even have money to, for his janazah to cover him, nothing. Because he spent it in the way of Allah. These are the champions of Islam. When they opened Salahuddin's treasury, how much did he have? 3 coins. He only had 3 coins. These are the people we should be looking up to, because these are the people who liberated Jerusalem. These are the people who showed us what Islam really is. So what can we take? What are the lessons that we can take from this? One is he proved that victory comes through iman and not just power. 2, he showed the Muslim that unity is key to strength. 3, he trained Salahuddin, who liberated Jerusalem in 1187. So let's look into some of this. 1, unity over division. Brothers, we see what division has done to us. Yeah? The Muslim world, look at today. We are either Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Saudi, Moroccan, Algerian, all of that. Yeah? And the Muslim Ummah is just fighting each other. The Sunnis are fighting the Shia. The Shia are fighting the Sunnis. We have issues, definitely. Yeah? I'm not talking about theological differences. Yeah? We will always have differences. But the one thing we did have was political unity. Yeah? Even amongst ourselves, some of us are Hanafi, some of us are Shafi, Maliki. Yeah? We don't start killing each other over it. We understand there's difference of opinion. But political unity, even at that time, they understood that if you don't want to, be taken over, if you don't want to be oppressed, you need to be united. That's how important unity is. You have to be united as an ummah. But we are in a situation where there is division. Number 2, justice before power. Yeah. So look, when you take power, when someone takes power, yeah, they need to rule by Islam, because only Islam will give you true justice. Today we have rulers, but we have no justice. Gaza is happening. Where's Erdogan? All these years, for 15, 20 years, he's been saying, I'm going to liberate Palestine. He was reading Quran in the UN and all the rest of it. Yeah, Palestine this, Palestine that. Where is he now? Where is he? Egypt, they are literally 2 meters, 10 meters away. They're watching the Muslims being bombed. They're watching the starvation. Nothing. Jordan, 50 or 60% of the population are Palestinians. Yet nothing, no movement. This is because the rulers do not have justice. They do not rule by Islam, so there will be no justice. Long-term vision. What do I mean by this? Nuruddin Zengi did not get to see the victory when Salahuddin liberated Jerusalem, when he brought back Masjid al-Aqsa. Nuruddin never saw it. He died. But do you know what he did? He paved the way. He saw that if I can't do it, then at least let me set up the next generation to do it. If that generation can't do it, then let there be a setup for the next generation to do it. And so on until Allah gives us victory. Victory is from Allah, but we need to do our bit. Yeah? And I'll read this out. Nuruddin never lived to see Jerusalem liberated, but he dedicated his life to the cause. He fought not for personal glory, but for obedience to Allah's command. He carried a vision greater than himself. If he could not achieve victory in his lifetime, then the next generation would continue the struggle. And if not them, then the next, until Allah grants us victory. He did not sit idle, waiting for Imam Mahdi. He acted, he sacrificed, he built the foundation for those who would come after. We must invest in our youth and give them the correct understanding of Islam and the vision for greatness. Yeah, so we have to build the next generation. And the last one is his sincerity in jihad. Now, brothers, none of us are warriors, yeah? None of us are warriors. But there is a jihad that we do have to do. And that's going back to the first point I said right at the beginning when I said about the framework. These discussions are to give you a framework as well. Now, what do I mean by that is, this talk is, maybe I did it in 20 minutes. I was doing it fast because I was weary of time. I've given you a framework. The jihad that's happening now is an intellectual one in this country. They are attacking Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam directly. They're drawing him, they're mocking him. They're attacking our mother. Yeah, I don't want to say what they're saying about her. They are attacking the concepts, the very creedal concepts of does Allah exist? How do you know these hadiths are correct? What's your foundation? Yasser Kardi came out with nonsense just a couple of weeks ago. He's shaken the iman of some people. That wait a minute, maybe some of these hadith ain't actually strong. Maybe all this time, we've been mistaken. These are the attacks that they're happening. And then you also have physical attacks. Because people take it and say, you Muslims, all you want to do is take over. That's all you want to do. You want to take over our land and all the rest of it. So there is an intellectual battle going on. And if our youth, if you do not take over us, if you do not do the studying, if you do not go and put in the, let's call it, I'm giving you a skeleton, you don't put in the muscle, how are you going to defend Islam? No one is asking you to go Palestine. You ain't going to do nothing in Palestine. You ain't got no military training. You can't speak the Arabic language. And even if you did, yeah, it doesn't matter. How are you planning on getting? You've never shot an AK before. Have you ever seen someone's dead body in front of you? Yeah, Allah is not going to ask you, why didn't you go to Palestine? Allah is going to ask you, what did you do? Did you write an article? Did you make a video? Did you make a meme? Did you talk to your family? Did you talk to your friend? These are the things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask you. He's not going to ask you, why didn't you put on a Batman suit and go to Gaza? He's not going to ask you that. But this is what I mean by the jihad that you have in here is the intellectual jihad. And maybe in Q&A we can go through more, inshallah.